Hello, and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room YouTube edition. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human. And I will be going over the definition of disability and the definition of black woman, white woman, and maybe even person of color down the line because I'm noticing with especially the messages that I'm getting as a collection, I'm seeing a huge pattern when it comes to identity. Because what do they tell you when you're a little kid? They say to be yourself. They say to be unique, to have your own identity, and not to follow everyone else. And with a lot of what I love and enjoy, that's exactly what I do. Even if my family didn't agree with it, and especially I wasn't able to do some of the things that I love and adore that now I am going to. And even though some are going to say I'm trying to act a certain way, which I'm going to go over, but it's just amazing how when you're small, when you're young, they tell you be yourself, have your own identity, be unique, be special. But then as you grow up, you they start putting you in a box and telling you who you're supposed to be, what are you supposed to know, and your role in society. But then when you do things that are outside of the box, outside of that normal, quote unquote, they ridicule you, put you down, shame you, call you out your name, and all types of things. Or, well, in my reality, they hope and pray that I never get into a relationship and never get married, which is why I, for the most part, have retired from dating. I literally have not been on a date in 8 or 9 years, 8 or 9 months, which I know the guys, if they ever find out that I have the screenshots of their messages on my channel, they will probably celebrate that I will never get married and I will never date. But realistically, I'm the one, well, you're going to see some screenshots because I'm slowly going to start responding to some more of these guys. Because I responded to maybe 1 to 2% of them, especially if they were the racist or just idiotic ones where it's just like, oh, yeah, you really love the orange guy. Yeah, yeah, you're really lacking in your education and your ignorance is just bliss. It's shiny, brighter than a diamond. Yeah. So, but especially with, and I know some of the African American men, they're probably going to get tired of me because I've been on them and no, not on them. No, but because, yeah. And the thing is, like, I've tried dating African American men. I've tried, and you're going to hear more stories because I know it's really funny how it's like there was one year when I was a guest professor at a university and I had to have a driver because this is right after I get diagnosed and I'm still not able to drive and everything. So, still trying to figure that out. But, and this kind of leads me towards this is probably going to be a series, so buckle up. But it was an African American gentleman that was driving me, and it was a friend of mine's friend who I think they go to church, or I forgot exactly how they know each other, but she got a hold of him, and so I paid him to be my driver for the semester so I can be able to do this job. But it's like when like I was still dating and everything, or with the dating apps, because this is like right at the cusp of like we're still wearing the mask and everything. So COVID's still, doing its thing. And it's like most of the guys that would talk to me were white or Asian or whatever. So he got upset with that. And this young gentleman, because I think he was like 5 years younger than me, something like that. But he literally told me he's not the only black guy that told me this. But it's funny. You're going to find out in a minute. But he told me that I am supposed to wait for a black man. I am supposed to wait for a black man to find me worthy to date and to marry. And for me to date outside my race, I'm still having fun. I'm still just doing what I want to do, but I need to face the reality that I am supposed to only date black. And he used to date white women, but he just did it for fun and because they would do things black women won't. And he was able to devalue them in ways and not care because black women are queens, and like he was saying all types of garbage and stuff like that because I'm like, what? Women are women. And now you're saying, depending on the race, it tells you how to value them. And I was like, don't, like, white men do this too. Oh, white men do this too. It's like, I've got the proof in my messages. Like I said, I'm over 80 episodes behind on episodes. But okay, here's where I come in though. Okay. And I just remember like talking to him and I remember we were talking and everything and I'm just like, do you know how few black men would consider me or will talk to me? And he was like, well, yeah, that's because you leveled yourself up too high. Now your standards are going to be too high for a black man to level up with, keep up with, or to be able to handle you. It was like you made yourself too smart for the average black man. And so I responded, so that means I have to limit myself, or I would have to either date extremely older black men or like just settle with men that I know that would not appreciate what I'm trying to do in my life, the goals I'm trying to set, and especially settle for, because remember, like I my goal is to have kids. That's the only reason why I was dating. It was because I want, and yes, in my past it was only to prove my mother wrong because she told me the only reason, or well, no, that's another one where I haven't told you guys yet, but okay, the main one, sorry, yeah, let's just say who mental a word, like yeah, mental a words. I don't know if you could say the um uh oos word on YouTube, so you know. Yeah, so anyway, she said as long as you walk like that, no one's ever gonna want you, love you, or marry you. So that was what I used to date for. That was the only reason. I just wanted to prove her wrong. But now, after my 7 year relationship, I ended that because I was like, this is not worth it. My mother can be wrong. I don't care, whatever. So then I started trying to date so I can have kids because I want kids. And then I realized the DNA that are my options, I don't, okay, there's adoption. Yeah. There's another option called adoption. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. When I write a poem or, yeah, yeah, I'm going to remember. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. At least, I'm getting some rhyming words ready. But, oh my gosh, like the way he would talk to me and like, because while we were driving and everything, because this was like around the middle of the semester when the subject came up, because one of my students who is white, he came up to me at the end of class and everything. And he was just like, I can't believe you're not married. It's like, you're smart and amazing and beautiful. And I like he had me blushing a little bit because I was like, like, why can't I find a guy your age who's not like what? I mean, and it's like he was one of the students who, at the beginning of class, he would make, because with this university, let's just say, they didn't pass a lot of the disability laws, and it wasn't that accessible whatsoever, but they did whatever they could to, that's one reason they didn't invite me back. And because the dean, that's another story for another day, but let's just say the dean is a no good ableist jerk, but that's just my opinion. Just my opinion, even though I have tons of proof. But anyway, it's like at the beginning of class, it's like I would go in and he would run in and everything, and he would always put the desk far apart and everything so that my walker would be able to fit in between. And he doesn't know how much I appreciate that, and how much where it's like he's the kind of guy who I hope he finds his princess, his queen, his bride, just the most wonderful woman, because it's like I was just his professor. So it's just like, to me, I'm just like, and I could I even remember telling him, I was like, tell your mother thank you. And it's like, I just remember he kind of looked at me. He was like, what? I was like, tell your mother thank you. And he was like, for what? And I was like, for raising such a wonderful, well mannered, just beautiful hearted son. I was like, we need more men like you. I wish there were more men like you. And so I hope he finds the woman of his dreams. He was so sweet. And I don't know, it's just like that one day though, when he gave me that compliment, and I'm literally about to blush. And it was funny because I had one of my other male students was in the front row and everything. And I just remember he nodded. And another, like, it's like, this was kind of this class, like, even though I had a disability and I'm a thicker girl or whatever, it's like this class kind of reminded me that yes, I'm older and disability and all this other stuff, but I can still be considered amazing, at least in someone's eyes. I've retired from, yeah, part of me is just like, you know what? I want to work on my books, my goals, my podcast, YouTube, because like that, I want to be happy. And most of the men that are writing me, hmm. But anyways, the guy in the front row, I just remember he was smiling and nodding, and I was just like, oh, well, thank you. That's so sweet of you. And he was just like, oh, it's like when I called you Mrs. and like, he was like, and you're just like, no, no, it's Miss. And it's like, I was just surprised and shocked. And it's like, cause one day it's like, this was like the second or third week of the semester. The doors were locked. On that side of the building or whatever. So he was running around trying to get everything ready. And it's like, he was like, Mrs. And he was like, and he apologized later. He was like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's like, Professor. And I was like, oh, I was like, I understand. So we're still just in a couple of weeks or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's no big deal. But, and to me, I'm just like, you know what? He's using his manners. But I remember when I told him that it was just Miss, and he was just like, you're not married? I was like, no, no. And I don't know. It's like, and then I showed him my left hand or whatever as evidence or whatever. And I don't know. It was just really, that was just a really nice day, because like, or when he came up to me and told me that. And even at the end of the semester, it's like, I remember he told me that he hopes that I meet that special person or whatever. And the students were saying this is one of the most amazing classes that they've ever had, and how I bring real life and literally real life situations into the classroom, because I would go through like current events of what's going on with the topic. And then I would be like, okay, how can my students solve this problem with the chapters that we're going over right now? And then I would also create games and activities to kind of teach the students how to think on more of a wide scope of different like topics. And because when you're going to be working and stuff, sometimes things are going to happen where now you're going to have, especially if it's a different demographic or population or something, you're going to have to think outside the box. You're going to have a wide scope and interpretation of how people are thinking and what they're going and what they plan to do. So, and if they say no, a backup plan to that no. And so it was just like the last day. I had a little gift for all of my students and everything, and we were talking and everything, and it was just really cool because they were just like, this is one of the most amazing classes I've ever had. This is so cool. And it's like I've learned about A, B, and C from, it's like, because I try to bring in different law topics pertaining to it too, because I tell students it's like with your business, with whatever you're studying, you always need to know at least a little bit of the law to have your back. You at least need to know some precautionary things so that you'll be able to know contracts is number one. Because it's like and I was like, if you guys watch People's Court, especially during COVID, if you ever watch People's Court, what's one of the number one mistakes people don't have? Contracts. With Mr. Lockakey, when I lent him money so he can put gas in his car so he can go and look for jobs, but instead he spent that money on special candy, I made the mistake and did not have a contract because I should have taken him to court, but I didn't have the contract. And then his good for nothing wife, or now wife, is like, she had the nerve to call me out my name, calling me the N word, B word, elemental P, anything she could call me. And then she said she was going to take me to court if I continued calling them about the money he owed me, even though he told me he would pay me back my money. But I would have to get back into a relationship with him, and I would have to sleep with him a certain amount of time. And if I did not make up my mind within 2 weeks, he was going to double the requirement. But yeah, he forgot to tell her that part. So yes, and it's like I bring up past stories and everything. Like, that's not the whole story. So if any of you guys want to get caught up, I know that, oh, that's in my podcast. It's the Mr. Lockakey series. I think it's a 3 or 4 part one. But I talk a lot about the mistakes I've made and what I've learned from Mr. Lockakey. But then I ended the relationship with Mr. No Heart, which was 7 years. And you're going to hear, because yes, I'm going to be starting the definition of a parent pretty soon. But one reason why I, yeah, I kind of talked about all of this stuff, but when it comes to identity, I enjoy teaching. I enjoy the professor, like, not the title of it, but being able to bring realistic and creativity into the classroom. And especially after that semester, like hearing students, I got this job, and oh, at this meeting, it's like they brought this up, and this reminded me of A, B, and C. So then I thought maybe we can do this, and my boss thought it was a wonderful idea. It's like, thank you so much. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And I say that, or I brought up like that position because do you know how many black men have told me that no black man would ever want to, like, specifically, I've 3 black men have told me that they would never want to date a professor because they don't want a smart woman. It's like, why would a man want a woman with brains? And one specifically said, I better quit. And when I told him, oh, okay, it's not going to work out, never mind, he kept calling me saying I better quit. And he was like, it's not a question, I better quit. So then I blocked his number, and then he started calling me off his cousin's number. And like, yeah, let's just say it got let's just say it got interesting. So yeah, it's like some people might be saying I'm a little hard on the black guys, but when a lot of them keep telling me that I am trying to be white, no, I'm being myself. Kind of like what I was talking about at the beginning of the episode. When they teach you to be yourself, to be unique, to be special and everything, I enjoy. It's like, yes, it's like I only do it as a part time gig, but I love it. And then with my children's books, they tell me it's corny. They tell me it's white. They tell me I'm not going to do anything with it. They say I need to quit, give up. And they tell me that I care more about this than having kids. And they say my job is to have kids. Yeah, okay. I want to have kids, but I want to trust the DNA that I'm having the kids with. So it's like some men just act like it's no big deal, just have kids. And I know I put a lot of emphasis on this in the past, but it's like to me, that is a big deal. That is creating a life. That's not just temporary. And once that child's born, I can't switch the DNA out with somebody else or someone else that I would actually want. you know? So to me, that's a big deal. And oh, thank God I never ended up having kids with Mr. Lockakey and Mr. No Heart. Oh, Mr. No Heart. Yeah, I've got, and now both of them are fathers. The gentleman who told me that I would, in order for me to get my money, I would have to get back with him and sleep. Like, it's like there's certain things that I wish would come back on him, but then that would be with his, like, I don't want anything to happen to his daughter because as a woman, I would never want what happened to me to happen to another woman, even if that is his daughter. And like parts of me, it's just, ooh, what kind of, like, I, the only thing I can do that would be petty is to add them all into my books, into my novels as villains, which I will do. And I think this is in like a very, very old phone, but I still think I might, like I said this before, but it's like I'm still looking for the phone because you know how being an adult is or having stuff is, you lose track of stuff. But in one of my phones, I still have the text messages of when Mrs. Lockakey like called me the N word more than once, more than 5 times. And she said I was a good for nothing N word. So I have it somewhere. I'm trying to find it. So once I find it, you guys will see it. Yeah, you will see it. So that is like it's like a very long, long Easter egg hunt, but and I'm probably gonna say her first name because yeah, I don't care if I say their names on here for the most part. You're gonna see their names in the novels because I am petty, and especially it's like I try to treat most women like I try to treat women as women and everything, but especially when you degrade me, put me down as much as humanly possible, that's when my petty ignites. So, and she is the one that did it. See, because like with their daughter, she didn't do it. It's like I feel bad for her DNA, but she didn't do it. So her parents did it, you know. But yeah, she didn't do it. So, and I would want to make sure, like, when I have kids, that they can look up to me and I can be a role model. So it's like if I would to just, I don't know, it's just, especially when I get, okay, Mr. Lockakey is a great example and Mr. No Heart because they, like, Mr. No Heart dropped out of college, Mr. Lockakey dropped out of high school. So they both quit school, but they both looked down on me for finishing school. And Mr. Lakaki, at first, he was bragging and bragging, but once I was almost done with getting my second master's, oh, he didn't think I was actually going to finish it. See, because he was encouraging me and applauding me at the beginning of the relationship because he did not think I was going to finish. But then I finished. And then he realized, oh, and I'm still addicted to special candy. I can't stop stealing from my jobs because, especially, these are two white men. And these white men saw me as a woman. They saw me as I'm not supposed to be able to do as much. And then, as an African American woman, they had their stereotypes because Mr. No Heart's mother, to my face, told me the only reason I got into college was because I was black. But then and that's the, like, she ignited my petty. She ignited my petty because I'm just like, how dare you, like, so the only, okay, even if that was true, even if it was true, I finished. I actually finished, went back and finished again, then went back and finished again. And your white son went and then escorted himself out. And then he had the nerve to try to tell me the reason why he was done with college, why he hated college, why college is stupid, was because he said all of his work was correct and great, but he got marked off points for not polishing and making sure every single bit wasn't perfect. And he said that got on his nerves, and he said school was not for him because he knew how to do all of it anyway. What kind of garbage is that? But okay, that'll lead me on to the next. Because, yeah, this is kind of a summary and me kind of, yeah, just throwing out at least introductory types of information. But, yeah, the subject it hits home with me because I always get judged. I get judged in so many ways. And it's really frustrating when, as a black woman, I'm told who I'm supposed to be and I'm put in a box. As a woman, I'm told who I'm supposed to be and put in a box. As a person with a disability, I'm boxed in, told who I'm supposed to be, told what I'm not supposed to be able to do, told that I'm supposed to be home all the time and limited and everything like that. That's not fair at all. I should not be told who I'm supposed to be. When I was in kindergarten, first grade, all throughout elementary school, what did they say? Be unique, be yourself, be special, be who you want to be, thrive, strive. It's like, be unique. But now I'm being taught differently. America, especially the Republican Party, teaches us differently. They tell us, especially as women, who we are supposed to be, what are we supposed to do. But before I run out of time, because I know I need a post-it and a sticky to remind me, but thank you for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Podcast, YouTube edition. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable, but most importantly, I am human. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I know this is kind of an odd episode and everything, but everything I said will lead up to the the main topic of the definition of me as a woman, as a person of color, and as a person with a disability. Bye.